Hey, so remember that shot of me and that big tree from like 3 seconds ago? Well, this is that same tree and me 18 years ago. When I was 4, my family moved here to the mountains of Costa Rica. My parents were looking for a different kind of life and for their kids to grow up learning a different language.
Berenjena.
Berenjena? ¿Qué es berenjena?
Eggplant.
Ah.
Truck. Camion.
My childhood was really happy. I remember spending most of my time outside exploring and just feeling totally free. The tree is a giant strangler fig, and is one of the biggest and most magnificent in the area. With a huge overarching canopy that makes you feel totally enveloped standing underneath it, I like to call it the mother tree. While the tree hasn't changed a whole lot in the 18 years since that photo was taken, I certainly have.
I want to see now.
That was good.
Daddy, I want to see it again. Daddy, I want to see it.
No, you play.
It was in Costa Rica that as a kid I discovered filmmaking and video editing as this amazing form of self-expression. When my family moved back to the United States for high school, that passion grew from just fun, goofy videos to starting to take it more seriously and applying to universities with film programs. I had always believed that film school would be this important stepping stone on my path to becoming a filmmaker. I had even gotten accepted into one of the better ones, and it felt like everything was going in the right direction. Yet after a year of hard work, creating, collaborating, networking, I felt like I just hadn't made anything of real value. I was just another young, naive, aspiring filmmaker surrounded by hundreds of other people just like me. And while that can be exciting, to me, it just felt suffocating. It was the hardest year of my life, but looking back, it was necessary for me to realize that this traditional path was not for me.
Hey there.
Hey, yeah, what were your like initial thoughts when I first told you that I wanted to drop out of college?
I said, oh shit, here we are again. You know I've been through this with your brothers.
I decided to drop out because I had this vision. I wanted to create something big. I wanted to tell a story that actually mattered. What that would be, how finances would work, what my time would look like, I had no idea. And I'm sure that vague justification was frustrating for my parents.
Love you, Mom.
The only thing I did know was that I wanted to return to Costa Rica, this place where I'd grown up and spent so many of my early years. I figured that if I went back there, I would find what I was looking for.
But no, I was a little disappointed. And then I just had to have faith that it would all be okay. At this point, I get to introduce to you the second main character of this story, Jaden, a good friend from high school who had also, for similar reasons, decided to take a break from college. He really didn't have much more of a plan than me, so I decided to invite him along. Jaden is probably best described as a free spirit, seemingly always happy, never stressed, and he makes for a really fun traveling partner.
Hey, have some pizza, man. It'll be really yummy. You don't want it? Dude, it's so good. I want it, but I'm a vegan.
You'll probably notice that over the past couple of years, Jaden and I have completely switched hairstyles. At the beginning, we didn't have any type of plan, and so this first month was kind of a pure fun vacation. We took it day by day and just had an absolute blast. But we didn't come here just to relax, and I was starting to get restless. Without drive and purpose, I felt aimless. That all changed when we reconnected with two old classmates of mine.
Izzy. Rafi!
Cool. It's so we can sync our audio. Who are you guys?
Izzy.
Rafi.
We grew up together. We've lived here most of our lives.
Both of them are kind of horribly understated, but if you get to know them better, you start to realize how intense and crazy they actually are.
Just do it. Show them how it's done.
They told us about how over the past couple of years they had started tree climbing and asked us if we wanted to come out with them one day, and perhaps bring a camera. We didn't know quite what to think. Like most people, tree climbing was just something we did as kids, but since we didn't have much else going on, we figured we'd join them for this adventure. The giant strangler figs are this unique type of tree with these beautiful hardened mesh trunks. Every strangler fig is remarkably different, some growing straight up and down, some growing in the weirdest diagonal overhanging shapes. As a kid here, I of course always looked up at these giants and dreamed of climbing them, but given that most figs are 100+ feet tall, I never dared. Watching Francini make her way up so gracefully, to me it felt like this impossible childhood dream, comparable to flying, was now possible. This was the first time that either of us had ever seen rock climbing systems applied to tree climbing, something that is really only possible with these unique, meshed strangler fig trunks. When Francini got back down to the ground, Jaden and I just kind of looked at each other with the same spark of an idea. This was it. This was the story we had come for. We knew that we couldn't tell this story by just filming from the ground. The footage would have been really boring. So our first mission was to become climbers ourselves. Learn the systems and get comfortable moving around in the vertical world.
I think it's harder than it seems.
And beyond that, we also had to build rapport with these guys, our movie characters. While they are laid back and humble, I think Izzy and Rafi were reserved at first in front of our cameras because of the importance of this story. To them, this wasn't just a random adrenaline experience, it was this beautiful way of interacting with nature, a transcendent experience, and a story that they wanted to be told right. If we were going to make this movie, get access to this world, do it justice, we were going to have to prove ourselves first.
You drink we on, the ascender on.
So yeah, we're pretty high up.
You just put all your faith in your knowledge of the system and the gear.
Yeah, Jaden.
Some slack.
Yeah. Dude, you're almost at the top.
Oh my god. Fuck. These spinny boys.
Yeah, do it.
Oi.
How does it feel?
No, oh no.
How does it feel?
I don't know, it's actually not too bad, but it kind of hurts. Like it throbs. I don't know how I slice it so bad, dude.
See? Es café.
Good. Go. Oh my god. Why does it just like get dirty on the rim, dude?
The cops. Hola, buenas.
I need yoga. Yeah, so if you can just give me a lot.
The common view of adventure is something that happens to us in new and foreign places, far from home. But what was so cool about this film project is that these crazy new and exciting and scary adventures were happening in the very place I grew up. I was rediscovering this place from a whole new perspective, accessing the world that had always been above me.
Jaden, this is so hard.
Dude, right? Noah, I told you.
You guys sound like such a married couple.
Dude, we've been together for months. Like every day.
For about a month and a half, we filmed almost every day. Dry weather is pretty crucial for both filming and climbing, and we had enjoyed many sunny days up until this point. However, as the dry season turned into rainy season, the increasingly frequent downpours soaked the climbing routes, fogged up our lenses, and made recording audio impossible.
We can't do it right now, man.
And we knew that once the rainy season starts here, it kind of doesn't stop for like months. It was frustrating, but whether we liked it or not, this rain put an early end to our production. On top of that, our visas were expiring, so we left and went back home. And by now, Jaden and I were actually planning on returning to college. No longer to study filmmaking, but to pursue other academic interests, reinvigorated after this year of adventure. We didn't know if we would be coming back, but we both had the strong sense that we were leaving Costa Rica with our work incomplete. COVID felt like this massive reset for both Jaden and me. All of a sudden we had all this time on our hands, back at home, taking online classes, and we had begun to think about our incomplete tree climbing movie. 6 months into the pandemic, Costa Rica reopened its borders, and we felt like this was a sign from the universe, that we needed to finish the project. And so, still broke as ever, we decided to go back.
Okay, Jaden, how much does our bag weigh?
Probably 47 pounds.
How much can it weigh?
40 pounds.
How much it has to weigh 40 pounds?
Yeah, so we have to wear 7 pounds.
We made it.
Gracias. Buen día.
For this phase 2 of production, our primary goal was to take the cinematography to the next level. All of our shots from the first trip were pretty stagnant. Filming up in the canopy is harder than you think. Once you're anchored in, it's hard to move around and get cinematic shots. But the experience of tree climbing itself is filled with such movement, and we wanted the visual style of the film to match that same magical feeling of ascension. This was our solution. We had been designing a janky cable camera system that we thought might allow us to get smooth moving shots in the canopy.
So right now we're setting up, huge cable cam going up, and it's gonna follow Grace the climber. And hopefully we're gonna catch it all in frame.
While the idea seems simple and straightforward, setting this thing up came with a multitude of challenges. It required hours to rig everything together. One of us would have to first climb up the tree, find the right spot, hang the pulleys, drop the lines down.
And yeah, we're getting amazing shots.
Sometimes it would be too windy and the whole system would sway back and forth. Sometimes the vertical path would have branches and leaves in the way. Other times the gimbal stabilizer would hit something and get messed up and start to spin out of control.
Hanging out in the canopy right now. The craziest part was balancing the Ronin attached to nothing on my lap right here in the canopy.
The biggest challenge of the system was that we had no idea where the camera was looking in real time. We were just shooting blind, hoping that the camera was at the right level and pointed in the right direction. We eventually fixed this with a wireless transmitter that allowed us to monitor the video stream in real time and be certain that we were filming the right angle.
I think that's what we're talking about right there.
While we were incredibly excited about this project, we naively thought that we would have instantaneous success. But not everyone else shared that same enthusiasm. And after countless rejections for distribution and funding, I honestly have to admit that there were many times when I lost faith that we would finish this, whether we would have anything to show for all of our time here. Maybe the idea wasn't as compelling as we thought it was. Maybe we weren't as good as filmmakers as we thought we were. I think the hardest creative lesson that I had to learn from this project was one of patience and self-confidence. After hundreds of hours of editing, you lose any logical motivation. Beautiful shots and epic climbing scenes are no longer enough to keep you going. No, you have to run off of something much more powerful. This project, for me, had been about rediscovering this beautiful place I grew up in, forming a deeper connection to nature, to my good friends, and to myself. Remembering and returning to my own essence, to what defines me. These trees have witnessed my most transformative years, this experience that permanently altered the course of my life and put me on the path that I'm still on today. Because of that, I will always call this place home.
I think you went down there with sort of a vague notion, and when you got there and discovered some piece of yourself, I think that brought your vision more into focus.